Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey.
And welcome to Bringers of the Light Sunday. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. Come and join me here as we are going to take a look at the energies of the week ahead and be diving into that, doing the book, our work in progress, Flying Potion. So before I go any further, let me wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the guides who overlight TLC for the soul, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, and a host of other TLC for the soul guides joining us here. Welcome. I want to first, kind of let the guides drive. Don't they always drive? Let the guides drive a little bit, but acknowledge what's happening with, quote unquote, the times right now, with what the astrology is bringing up for everyone, the cycles and things that are coming about to bring up big change in our lives this year, this whole year of the snake, all the planetary alignments and the ascension codes. It's just like a lot happening. And for each one of you that I've talked to offline, even some of my fellow YouTube content creators have been having a really rough time right now. It's affecting everyone, myself included. And so I just want you to know that you're not alone out there, that this upheaval, this chaos, it's not random happenstance in your life. Because I think that can make people feel a little bit disconnected from what's going on. Like, why is this, what's happening to me? Or why is this happening? Whatever the quote unquote this might be. And so it's going to be different for each one of you. And it's just part of what's happening right now with ascension, with the way the planet is trying to rise up in consciousness. It's just shaking everything out that needs to go and is not serving. So I thought what we would do today is we will take a look at the chapter. I just channeled it, talk a little bit about what high level is going on in the astrology. I'm not an astrologer, but I do pay attention to the astrology, and my guides will share with me like what astrology stuff I feel like might be most important for you guys to know about right now. And it comes out to like an overall themes. Like right now there's a lot. I'm recording this on Sunday, March the 2nd. There's a lot going on with light body upgrades. A lot of people are having a lot of respiratory stuff happening. My son, other people I've talked to. So you've got to take good care of yourself. I have Breathe Deep or Breathe Easy tea, and I have my little my little oranges, and trying best to stay present and in the now moment. Super important right now, because I think I want to talk about what's happening with the those of you that are ready for this consciousness upgrade that's coming about. So I've also brought in the Archangel Michael deck. He has been like instrumental in helping keep my sanity and my energy straight over the past week and a half or so. I've got the Lemurian Star Child to take a look at the ascension frequencies, and I'm bringing in the fairies to bring in some grounded, earth-based guidance as well. So before we go any further, to support you. I'm here to support you. That's part of my role. That's part of why I do TLC for the soul. It is a part of my divine service work in the world. There's tons of resources for you here at TLC for the soul that you can take advantage of. There's the channel and the podcast. which have almost 1,000 shows on there now. The majority of them are timeless. Take advantage of that. I do see people going back, when I look at my analytics, going back to older shows, because I've said before, use it as an oracle. If I'm not here, dropping something new on a particular day and you need guidance, set the intention to receive the messages that you need. Pick up the videos part of the homepage or whatever, or the podcast episodes. Close your eyes, scroll your finger, put your finger down, and you will get the message that you need. Same with my Instagram. There's almost 2,000 posts on Instagram. All of them are, I do a lot of day of, the today energy, but they can be used as timeless messages. Just go back and scroll. Same thing with TikTok. So we're here for you. We also have our books. All of my ebooks are free to read. You don't always be doing your spiritual practice, but all of my ebooks are written with the intention to be healing tools, to give you divine messages and clarity, and also just to be fun stories. So if you want to follow the Bringers of the Light book series or whatever, Apple Books, Google Books, Barnes & Nobles, and my Smashword eBooks publisher. Again, you could do the same thing. Just find one that speaks to you. And I think we have them. A lot of those are on audiobook that I've recorded for the channel as well. So I just dropped yesterday Flying Potion to bring us up to speed. The last chapters of Flying Potion, I don't remember exactly what they were, 22 to 25 or something. So you can go have fun with that. I did a live book circle reading at the Chai House Tea Bar. And so we can take a look at, just having some fun and some downtime as well. You can't constantly be focused on you can be focused on spiritual knowledge and wisdom and the teachings that help you stay grounded and centered, but you can't be constantly meditating and thinking about what's going to go on in your life 24/7. Well, you're not doing that while you're sleeping anyway, but you have to give yourself, especially your mind. I think the biggest thing happening right now is within the mind. So do you want me to do the book first or the cards? Okay, let's do the cards, and then we'll read the chapter to kind of sum it all up. You can't see what's going to happen. Okay, I think that's part of where we can get ourselves into a lot of trouble. And I have not in the past paid a lot of attention to Eckhart Tolle, but he's saying some of the same things that everything else is. So I'm back to, listening to Esther and Abraham a little bit when I need I need high frequency downloads. Back to paying attention to the now, not trying to put those feelers out into the future. The big thing now is, I feel like it's a life review happening right now, especially with all these. We're back in retrogrades again. We've got Mercury retrograde. We're in the shadow part right now, I think, until the 14th. We've already entered eclipse season. So Mercury retrograde and eclipse season are going to be happening right at the same time. The first eclipse, I believe, is on March the 14th. So there is a lot. Yeah. First, I've got my calendar right here. Sorry, I'm right at it. Okay, it's all right. The first eclipse is the 14th and the 15th with the full moon. Mercury retrograde starts. We've got the eclipse and the full moon, and Holi, the Holi, it's color lights, festival of color starts. So that is not this week, but next week. So we're a week and a half or so, almost 2 weeks away from the eclipse. And I feel like this Mercury retrograde is not coming in necessarily to shake things up. It's coming in like this slowing down, life review, all this shakeup in the ascension codes, What do I want to do next? And it's hard to see that when you don't have the clarity that you need just yet. So when is that clarity coming? You know, that's a good thing. When is that clarity coming? Let's see. Archangel Michael, what can we share with people about what's happening right now? Card number 25. Put your creative energy into action. Archangel Gabriel joins me to spark your creativity, help you communicate your vision, and motivate you to create something beautiful. Yeah, I think with this, we want to keep our intentions very high vibe and not go into like, what is that? Like, not go into the lower frequencies, feeling like, oh, woe is me, because what my guides keep saying, faith, hope, and trust. You have to fall back into faith, hope, and trust. Not getting caught in these collective themes of the lower vibrations. And I don't even want to say them because, it's like, I don't want to go there. So we have to have faith and hope and trust that things are also things may be happening to shake things up, but at the same thing, things are happening for your life. Angels are here and they're guiding you. Your guides are guiding you. That none of that changes. Your guides are still your guides. I think sometimes when we get pulled into what's happening right now, we can be like become disconnected and feel like, oh, I'm just here in this 3D world, and there's nothing. It's all randomness happening around me or whatever. And it's like, no, you are in control of your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And if you had to, like me, clear your energy multiple times a day, then so be it. Just do that. Bring yourself back into the present moment. Focus on what you can control. Everybody teaches these same things, and go back to the higher vibrations. If you have to have repetitive thoughts, bring them back into the heart space. The gratitude, being in the now moment. Are there things you can create? What you're creating, it's you, is with your words and your thoughts. And I think this is a time to be in very close connection with your guides, not to set your spiritual practice aside, to be very diligent in your work, to check your energy field. So lately, just because I do feel like everything's outside, it's kind of like, before I make any decisions, I'm like, is my energy clear? Is my mental body clear? Is my emotional body clear? Because if it's not, then the guidance that you're getting, or that you think you're getting, could be guidance that's driven a little bit by what's most in your energy and in your aura right now, which could be, if you've had a lot of like thoughts about like what's going to happen to me in the future, which can then start going into what's going to happen to everybody else, what's going to happen to the planet, what's going to happen to my loved ones. It can spread like a vicious tentacles, and you can very easily find yourself being pulled astray. And so it takes a lot of practice, and I feel like that's what they're coming in to say is continue practicing thinking good thoughts, knowing when you feel off, because maybe your energy needs to be cleared, or maybe you're being affected by something outside of you that's pushing up against your energy field. So pay attention to that. What is going on right now with this ascension process, these ascension codes? And today that I'm recording this, I heard someone say there's a very long void of course moon. Whenever there's a long void of course moon, meaning it's not days, usually it's like hours to lengthy hours, like 10 hours or something, but it can be hard to do any kind of take any kind of action, because it's a very floaty kind of like, what am I going to do with my life kind of feeling. It brings up sometimes some doubts or some uncertainty about what's happening. So paying attention to the moon cycles, I believe personally from my experience, it is important to understand what's going on in the astrology. Again, that makes you feel like it's not just randomness. happening. It's happening for consciousness rising, consciousness expansion. Why did we sign up to be, why did us brave souls sign up to be here now? I guess that we're needed, right? Bringers to the light are needed here right now, no matter how. And then I think the other thing too is there's always change. That's one of the spiritual concepts to be aware of, is things always change. The law of cycles is another one. We talk about the karmic law of karma a lot here on the channel, but the law of cycles is another one. Things are always changing. Everything is cyclical, and the way this universe that we're in here works is everything cyclical and happening like a rotational wheel kind of a thing. Bad times won't always be bad. Good times won't always stay great and good. And so you have to make peace with where you're at in this cycle. So let's see what else. What do we need to know about this ascension stuff happening right now? Indigo child. These to me are bringers of the light. They are part of Archangel Michael's army of angels. They're all over the planet. Indigo, spiritual warriors. Yeah, I'm getting big chills. Indigo, spiritual warriors. Now, not all of you work on the indigo ray. I know some of you work very closely with Archangel Gabriel, too. So it's like all hands on deck right now. What was on the bottom of the deck? The bottom of the deck was card number 2, breathing. And the indigo child was card number 3. Looks like a 3, yeah. Breathing. What's breathing? I think the breathing is the expansion that's happening on the planet, as well as, breathe, because this is what's going on right now. Breathing into the now moment. Liz Harrison on Guided by Angels. I find her morning, she does post every day as well on YouTube. Her morning videos are very, saying very much the same thing. Her channel is not just, it's a big focus on the twin flame journey, but it's not. Liz has very expanded consciousness, and the things that she say, I put it on every morning. I listen to her daily angel message, and I listen to her twin flame message, not so much about what's the divine masculine doing, but the messages that she gives overall, even for the divine feminine, on how to work with your own energy right now, are just spot on, right up there with a lot of what I'm hearing everybody else talking about. So that's highly resonant and is a lot of what we're sharing here as well. So bringing yourself back into the now with 3 deep breaths, focusing on self-love and self-care. I think the biggest thing is you're not going to see, you're going to see the now, and you're going to get signs and synchronicities about what's coming, but not as far ahead as you think or that you want to have them. So I think some of you may be like, oh my God, what could be happening then in the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? I don't know. It's so uncertain. It's like, yeah, you're not going to be shown. Because a lot of the potentials haven't even opened up yet. So we have to fall back into the, we are being guided, we are being shown, but we're being shown like steps at a time, not far into the future. And, in the 3D world, you're kind of taught to do that. Like, where do I want to be in 1 year? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Well, on this ascension path, this spiritual pathway, I just don't know. It just doesn't seem to work like that. It doesn't seem to, because you've opened yourself up to higher frequencies, it seems like there's more of this pure potentiality that could come in and shift things in directions that you weren't thinking about. And so you have to be open to pivot a little bit more than you might if you were not on the spiritual path, if you weren't on this ascension pathway that you committed yourself to before you came here. What do the fairies have to say? And then we will read our chapter. What fairies or fairy energy is supporting us in this week ahead? Oh, I can't show it because it has nakedness and YouTube will get mad at me, but it's Iris of the Rainbow. Oh, it's card number 32. No. Yeah, 32, and we have cards 2 and 3. 5, 5 again, you guys, the 5, 5. The 5, 5. The 5, 5, 5. It just makes me like hot. Whew, Iris, not hot like that, but like, whew. The change is just palpable in the air. Iris of the Rainbow. Let's look at this. Card number 32. Hope and promise for the future. So, blue skies and rain are the realm of Iris, the rainbow fairy. She dwells at the meeting of air, the element of the mind, and water, the element of emotion. She sits, rainbow-hued wings outspread, suspended in midair, partially wrapped in her deep sky draperies and crowned with iris blossoms. The fairy archers tip their arrows in her potent handful of iridescent light. Firing their arrows, they send polychromatic rays into the storm, bringing light to dismal skies and hope to darkened hearts. Beneath the rainbow fairy, the amphibious creatures of a wet earth crouch. The fairy frog maiden and the frog, anyone care to kiss him and see what happens? Peer out from their shelter at the storm-racked world, while the shadowed sun is dimly seen above Iris's head. Sturdy pot-bellied gnomes, their toes rooted in the earth, sport sweeping whiskers to prove their entitlement to their single iris crowns, while the helpful fairy amphibians hold transparent, rainbow-filled globes for the rainbow fairy. Everyone, especially Iris herself, is fully absorbed in the task of reclaiming the bright sky from the dark of the storm. In her hand, the light of heaven's bow looks a fragile thing, yet it is the light of hope, the promise of healing and joy to come, and that is one of the most powerful things there is. Iris tells us that light is breaking through our present darkness, and that hope is a powerful factor in speeding up this process. She does not promise us that the storm is over, nor does she say that it will never storm again, but she does say that there is brightness and beauty here. She also tells us that there is something to be gained by this passage through the storm, and the sooner we learn what it is, the sooner the storm will end. Iris suggests that the cultivation of patience may also be helpful at this time. At this point, it is useful to ask ourselves what we still need to release and to look after protecting and nurturing the seeds we have planted. A passage through the storm is a time of potential growth, a time to allow the dead wood of our past to be blown away, to make room for the green shoots of new growth. The storm is breaking up. Are we ready for the change? If we are presently frogs, the fairies say the time of our transformation, foretold by the rainbow, may be at hand. Then we shall be kissed by the light of the sun and discover if we are still frogs or if we have become something much more. So with that in mind, let's get to Flying Potion. When we last left off, we had Dakar at Zeta Reticuli with the appearance of Maggie Chalmers, who just cannot seem to leave him alone, but he ends up capturing her and bringing her back to Bringers of the Light headquarters, where they're working on her ascension, her darkness, and they put her in a magic tank, and we have yet to know what's going to happen when Maggie comes out of that tank, because with this next chapter of Flying Potion, we're dropped back into Rockaway Point. Ooh, my orange. So as always, when you listen to this, listen with your master senses. You can just listen to it as a fun story. You can invite in your guides to help you pull out any metaphors or meanings that are meant for you. as we talk about this for the week ahead. This is chapter 26, 2-6. An afternoon at the park. The sun was over Rockaway Point, and the breeze blew its sweet spring air into the old spaces within the town. I'm already seeing from the cards that came out some synchronicities in the channeling for this. Abigail rolled over and pulled the duvet around her. Dakar slept peacefully by her side. The reunion and his homecoming from Zeta Reticuli even more meaningful this time. He'd always had a thing for Maggie, but now here with Abigail, he knew yet again that he was home. Polly and Scratchy had made a picnic lunch and were taking it to the park. Her guides told her someone was there waiting for her, and she wondered if that was what all the crazy omens had been about the past few weeks. Maybe she would find that handsome someone she was always dreaming about. Scratchy was sure he'd heard someone at the door last night, but when he'd gone outside to prowl around, there was no one. Only that spring breeze that kept speaking to him. "You know you want to shift back and be here with Polly," it said, caressing his tabby fur. Well, maybe, he thought, but life was so much easier as a cat. He preened his fur and made ready for the outing at the park. Then on the outer side, or other side, I think it's other side, the other side of town, the bell tower of Flanagan's Cathedral chimed 11 on the hour. It's 1-1. The rectory at the cathedral was run by one Tilly Millicent O'Malley. Tilly straightened her hair in the mirror. This spring breeze always made it so frizzy. She was going to lunch in the park. She'd made tuna sandwiches and iced tea, along with a small salad and some cookies. Tilly had her eye on a special someone, and she hoped that that person would be at the park today. Maybe she could share her sandwich with them and have some good conversation. She picked up today's edition of the Rockaway Point Gist and looked on page 4. Page 4 had all the town announcements on it. She saw an announcement that Albie's record shop was having a sale on vinyl records, 2 for $5. Lots of numbers coming up here. Albie was cleaning out old stock to make way for some cool new things he'd purchased at an estate sale and auction. Tilly decided to visit after her lunch. Mindy Smatherton picked up her phone and dialed Abigail. They had yet to schedule that coven meeting to introduce Mindy to everyone, and she felt like the time was approaching for that gathering. For now, she stirred her tea and wished for more magic in her life. Things were a little stagnant right now, and she couldn't see the way forward. Everyone in Rockaway Point seemed to be on the verge of something, but what that something was had yet to materialize. So until then, they were gently led to enjoy that picnic in the park, that tuna sandwich, the lover by their side, that spring breeze, and everything they had to be grateful for in this now moment. It's the energy of the week ahead. Because next week, chapter 27, which equals a 9, is called The Coven Takes on a Cause. So I feel like there's going to be more forward motion. After this week ahead, as we get into eclipse week, and after that is the week of the equinox, something starts moving. So it could be because we're still a lot in Pisces energy, which is the last sign on the zodiac wheel. And, you know, we've got Aries coming up later on in the month, right? So that's when things tend to kick off and get a little more busy. The equinox and the other eclipse, the partial solar eclipse, new moon at the end of the month. So I just feel like there's a lot of closing out of cycles, some cycles closing out. You being guided to reflect, because I still feel like there's a lot of reflection in this chapter, reflecting what's going on, taking it easy, following the guidance you're receiving, and be open to how that guidance comes to you. I think I shared one time, and I'll close with this. I still didn't bring that paper up here, but it came to me as I was talking, was the time it was only a few weeks ago, where I went to my little barn where my birds are at, and I unlocked the door. I keep it locked just because I don't want the wind blowing it open or anything. Not so much that, yeah, right. So I opened the door, I unlocked the door, I opened the door, and it's very, very dusty in there. Their pine shavings and stuff kick up all sorts of dust. So there's like dust. It's like a barn atmosphere. There's dust in the air. And right on the floor, right in front of me, was a paper from, I forgot the date, early 2000s. I think it was 2009. So it's a paper that I guess I printed. I don't know where it came from, but the print date on the paper that came out of the printer was 2009. So I haven't printed anything here recently. I did have a printer, and I did used to use it way back when. But this paper was something that I just don't know where it could have come from. And it was perfectly white, absolutely no dust on it at all. And it was laying there when I opened the door, right there on the ground in front of me. And I was like, what in the world is this paper? How could it have been? Where did it come from? It wouldn't even have been, even if it was a paper I had printed way back when, it would have been in some, file somewhere in my house. It wouldn't have been in a barn, right? And if it had just happened for whatever reason, been in there, it would have been covered now in dust, because everything that's in there, you put something in there in a week or so and it's just covered in this very fine dust. But this paper was pure white. I keep it downstairs in the kitchen where I can always see it, because it's a sign that the guides are here. Your guardian angels and your guides are close by, and they are showing you and wanting you to know that you're not going through whatever you're going through by yourself. They are here to help. They are here to help you clear, keep your energy clear. They can't help if you don't ask, like all day long. I'm like, Archangel Michael, I'm doing okay. And if you need guidance, they're here. They will send you the answers that you need, but you have to be open to receiving the messages that they're sending you. And by staying here in the present moment, keeping your energy clear, you can, and the other thing that I do too, if I want to be sure I'm getting very clear guidance, is I'll activate my heart chakra. You just have to tap it. And then I'll activate my crown chakra. You just have to tap it. And then I take a deep breath into the heart space, and I lift loving energy up to the crown and let it stay there. And that way you can be sure your crown is active and in your heart. And the guidance that you're getting is actually, not coming from some, random weird thought forms in your field that might be bringing up fear, but it's actual guidance and intuitive downloads and messages coming from your higher self and from your guardian spirits and your team. Okay, one more card. Which one? Okay, one more card from Archangel Michael to close this out. Well, the bottom of the deck is just showing itself to me. Maybe this is the card right here. It's almost over with the clock on 11 o'clock. 1-1 again, but this is card number 16. Your current challenges will soon be resolved, and you will be able to look to the future with a smile. And then I'm going to take the one underneath that too, because that's the last one that he's showing me right side up, which is stay the course. Also, card number 11. Well, it's card number 29, but that equals an 11. Don't panic. You're not on the wrong path. You're just having a bumpy start. Learn from your experiences and keep going. So my guides are saying they're complete. I am complete with what I wanted to share with you today. I am open for personal sessions. I have a Ko-fi page that has some of them listed, but if you want to reach out to me directly for a personal session, you can also email me at the show email. I'd be happy to set up something, some sort of session that meets your needs right now. And the way I do that is when you contact me, I always, talk to your guides, talk to your higher self and see what you most need right now. Is it a shamanic healing? Is it some sort of shamanic practice? Like doing a lot of soul retrievals and stuff. Or is it just messages and guidance? Is it motivational stuff? Is it to pull some cards and see where you're going? So I take a look and do something very personalized for each one of you. So if that's something you're interested in, you can reach out to me and we can take a look at that as well. Also check out the merch we have here for a lot of Bringers of the Light t-shirts and cups and mugs and pillows and cool stuff that we have as well. Also some Rockaway Point fun merch like Abigail's Coven t-shirts for the Spectre and Book Coven, and just some fun other stuff. So I want to thank you so much for joining me here, and we will see you all again soon. Take care. Spring has sprung at the Chai House Tea Bar. Go see Cassie for her Lavender Lassie and Fairy Friends Frappe. 2 drinks that will bring out the magical spring in your step this time of the year in Rockaway Point. Let the Chai House Tea Bar whip you up a special treat to take with you on that spring picnic or outdoor outing. Everything's happening at Chai House Tea Bar, Rockaway Point's premier drink location.